Live now. That's us. I'll be danged. Golly gee. They let us go live.
1, 2, 1, 2, coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John, you know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional. I'm through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go.
What's happening there?
Computer's just getting old. I think it's RAM usage. Or something.
Mac, right? Stop sharing
Oh
stuff.
no. Chrome is eating my CPU alive.
Well, kill Chrome and then restart it.
I can't do that because then I would kill the video and
Stream.
recording sessions.
Mm-hmm.
Well, stop sharing your screen, please.
I'm trying.
Close all your other tabs.
All right. Do you want to mess around a little bit before we start, or?
Let's go. Let's do it.
Okay. All right. Let me just get the what show is this? 266.
PHPUgly.
You're listening to episode 266 of PHPUgly, the LTE version. I'm your host for the time being, as long as my Wi-Fi holds up, which I actually don't have. Eric, and with me is John.
Not Wi-Fi.
Not Wi-Fi?
Not Wi-Fi.
It's not Wi-Fi.
The audio's nice. The video, not so much.
Well, you're not really missing out then. And my other co-host, Tom.
Hello.
Yeah. My Wi-Fi hookup fell through, and so we're gonna try to stream my stream off of LTE and see if it works. AT&T LTE. So
not even
wait,
5G.
Why are you not going through your 5G phone? Do you not have 5G connection there?
I don't know, John. I do. But the LTE was on my iPad, and it very nicely asked, "Hey, do you want to get on the internet? Because I'll hook you up through the iPad." And I'm like, "Yeah, hook it up." I guess I could have used a phone, but
glad we're working it out now.
I guess I should have been there.
Life is rough.
Should have been there 10 minutes ago for you to help get you hooked up.
Yeah, well, I was negotiating with the IT guy up until I dialed in with, "What's the Wi-Fi? Give me the Wi-Fi." And then all of a sudden he replies, "You know what? That actually might not work." I'm like, damn it.
Why would it not work?
I don't know, man.
Rules.
I'm not part of the problem.
I promise I'm not hacking in. I want to do a stupid show.
Well, no, yeah, we were clear. Told them everything. Matter of fact, even sent them a link to the show so that they saw that it was like an appropriate show for as appropriate as we are. But
So wait, you sent them a link to the show, and then they said, "You know what? The Wi-Fi thing might not work out."
it actually crashed. I'm sorry, it doesn't work.
Weird. Weird.
I have another location that I can Wi-Fi from that I'll do next week. So, and I know that Wi-Fi works. Well, I say that.
Yeah.
We'll
way
see.
to
We'll see
curse
when I
it.
get up there. Yeah.
Is that from your,
So how's
your
your
new
been doing?
office space?
Yeah. My little co-working office that I rented. Yeah.
How's
Very
that
nice
working out
people.
for you?
It's working out really well. Happy I did it. Our living situation, we got five adults and 3 cats living in a very small area. So having an office to go to has been extremely helpful. Extremely helpful. And they're nice people there too. I forgot like that whole co-working community is like a whole thing. Like they have their own vibe and stuff. You go there and like everybody's cheerful and happy and
Ooh.
working on new projects and startups, and they have all the like energy in the world that everything's going to work out for them. I'm like, yeah, no, I've been doing this a while now. Tone it down just a little bit.
They haven't been stepped on yet.
Let me go to my private office over here because I don't want to try to absorb any of that energy.
Is it just this one door? Can we have other can I get like those doors that like shoop like in the Death Star? Can I get one of those? Is that possible?
Yeah. Can I get a more enclosed cubicle type space?
And I tell you what, it's surprising to me. Like I understand I live a fairly privileged life, and I feel like it wouldn't surprise me to find out I spend $1,000 a year at Starbucks between the whole household because we all use the same card. And I'm just amazed, like just one day they wouldn't let him like wash his feet in their sink. I'm like, come on, I don't have a lot of places. I'm just trying to wash my feet. I spend money here. You'd think they would just let it slide, but no, apparently it's some health regulation or something. I'm like, this man got to wash his feet at.
I have the distinct feeling that you spend way more than you think at Starbucks.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Because I'm looking at $15 a day, which doesn't even count your whole family.
Mm-hmm.
That's like 2 people a day.
Yep. We came to the
that's
realization.
$5,500 in a year.
Again, I understand. I'm speaking from a point of privilege, and I'm kind of embarrassed to be doing that because it's like whatever. But we bought coffee for the entire family. Like we usually it's just like 1 or 2 people buying coffee for themselves, but because of recent situation, we bought coffee for the entire family, and we came to the realization that the balance we carry on that gift card isn't enough to pay for everybody. We had to up that balance.
Yeah, you're making a car payment at Starbucks.
A couple.
Just you need to get one of the travelers for the house. Like you go get just a big thing of coffee and bring it back.
I like this traveler.
Or a coffee machine. Make coffee at home.
Machine. Yeah. Yeah, we have it. We have a coffee machine. It's just you just don't want dirty dishes. You got to understand, like everything.
They sell paper cups.
You're a paper cup. Let's talk about something else.
He's living out of his suitcase. Let the guy have a break, or give the guy a break.
Yeah, how long are you in a suitcase, PHP. By the way? You're there you're there until January, right?
January 1st. Probably. Technically, I think 1st is Friday, 2nd, 3rd, probably the 4th is when we'll sleep our first night in the new house.
Get the house painted before you move in.
Yeah,
I don't think we need to.
Oh, okay.
Pretty house.
That and
okay.
I did
You
take
stopped
y'all's
talking to me.
advice. I did take y'all's advice and grab movers. So all our stuff is in storage. I mean, that was like the thing. It's like,
yeah, but it's not just one storage. It's like 12 storage units.
well, we have the pod. The pod has all the heavy stuff in it. And the thinking behind is if we put all the heavy stuff in the pod, then all we have left are boxes. But that turned out to be a lot of boxes. A lot more than we thought it was going to be. So yeah, we have movers who are going to move the stuff out of the storage units for us and take it up to the house. Very excited.
Cool. All right, so you want to talk about PHP?
I do.
Guess who talked about PHP for 45 minutes today to a bunch of 7 and 8-year-olds.
Oh, wow.
You got to share this story.
You did not.
Dude, were any of them interested in writing an article for PHP Architect? I'm just curious. They can write it in crayon. That's been done before. We're okay with that.
You just pretend you wrote it on a whiteboard and take pictures of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how that scene from Silicon Valley works out. Is you go to a bunch of 7-year-olds and take photos of their whiteboard, steal their middle out technique.
There you go.
That is such a disturbing thing to say, Tom. And John doesn't even understand why.
I don't.
What is wrong with you?
That is a different reference. You are following me down the wrong path there.
That's like.
Tell me, okay. So this is where you follow up the guy who's like a super buff fireman, and he talks about saving kittens, and then you're like, "Well, I'm a software developer manager."
I am so confused right now.
Is that not what you did as a parent?
Me?
Yeah.
No. All right. I thought you guys were still in Silicon Valley or whatever you're talking about. Okay. No. So my kids' school did an hour of code today, and they asked for parent volunteers. And it originally was, we want parents that do coding for a living to submit a 30-second to 1-minute video, and they were going to do a compilation and share it with the school. Well, as soon as I submitted, they quickly turned around and said, "Well, actually, we want you to do it live and be in the classroom." So
do it live.
So a handful of us did presentations in various classrooms today, but there was no guidance on what they wanted. It started out with, it's hour of code. We want you to talk to our students about how you use technology on a daily basis. So my entire presentation was more about how I use technology versus showing them code. So I'm sitting out front before it was time to go in, and I hear the announcements go on the speaker, and it's about the hour of code. And all of a sudden it hit me, crap, they probably want to see code. So I quickly put together just a couple of quick example scripts. Turns out I can't even connect my laptop anyway to anything. So all they had were my slides. So I spent time writing this code for nothing. But it turned out to be great. I went into 3 different classrooms. I had 15 minutes in each and got to tell my corny jokes of I'm a web developer and show a picture of Spider-Man to make all the kids, excited. I'm like,
it really is your target audience.
Yeah. I'm like, no, I'm not that kind of web developer, but it'd be way more fun to work with Spider-Man. And then show them a web browser, and we talk about that. And I got to talk about Diego Dev and PHP Architect, and then
just curious, was your kid sitting at his desk like this?
No, not at all. He actually has told multiple people that I did a really good job. So thank you very much.
Taught him to kiss ass early, huh?
Exactly. So anyway, I did bring up PHP Architect, the magazine. So expect sales to skyrocket tomorrow.
We're going to have to have one of those color this page. What's different between these two? What's different between these 2 code blocks?
Yeah. Color by number.
Find the misspelling on the cover.
Find the missing semicolon.
I was asked them, like, I'm telling them that we published a magazine. I'm like, do you think I use coding for publishing a magazine? No. And then get to talk about all the different code that actually goes into publishing a magazine. And it was fun. There was way more than that. They were doing a binary thing where they were writing their name in binary. And the first class I went into, they hadn't done that at all yet because I started their hour of code. So then I'm trying to explain what binary is because the teacher has no clue. All she knows is I have this sheet of paper that has the alphabet and the binary equivalent, and they're going to write it out. That's their knowledge of binary. And then
John's in there. Before you rate anything, you got to rate test. Kids were freaking out. Wait, we have a test? What the hell are you talking about?
And there you go. I get to the second classroom and they've already written their name in binary, but they still don't know why. So again, after my presentation, I get to talk more about binary, which is fun because I like binary. It's just different. So it was a good day. Good morning.
That sounds really. Did you take one of the Oscar elephants in with you?
I took I didn't take them in, but I took pictures of my herd up there and the huge elephants. So as I'm talking about PHP and the mascot, I show pictures and the kids loved it. Like, just thought it was great. And I brought up Minecraft and Roblox in all the classrooms. And as soon as I did that, all the kids were like, ah, because so happy I said their favorite games.
Yeah, this is really hurting PHP's image of being a mature language for serious developers. 7-year-olds.
Yeah,
that's actually very exciting. That's very exciting. I'm envious. I would have liked to sit in on that, but I can't get within 50 yards of a school. But we'll get through that at some point.
I thought it was 100, but okay, only 50. Right. Eric, what did you want to talk about? No, you wanted to talk about PHP. I didn't mean to hijack your time.
Eric trolled our Trello board this week. I'm not sure if you saw that.
I did.
Elon Musk was made Times Person of the Year. And
Person of the Year.
Eric plastered it all over the Trello board. There's nothing to talk about.
Oddly enough, I took it off of all the lists except for Thomas. Apparently, put it back on his list. Oh, that's my troll. Oh, I get you.
Yes.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I dislike Elon Musk. I think he's a douchebag, and people for some reason don't understand that Times Person of the Year is not an honorific; it is just an acknowledgement.
Stop being such a freaking mean person, Thomas.
Yeah, wasn't
oh yeah, poor
Hitler,
billionaire, poor richest man alive. List? Will he ever recover from my sick burn? He tweeted last week that he was pooping. This is the guy. Yeah, this is Times Man of the or Person of the Year. I'm pooping right now. Really great stuff.
Was it his kids with his phone? Does he have kids? I don't know. Don't really care. But
he has a kid. You don't remember that story about what he named his dumb kid?
Why would I remember? I don't care.
It's a child.
Is it a child? Because he didn't give it a child's name. He gave it a beta release name. Now I have to see how to pronounce it.
Buttery
X.
Buttery. I've never seen you tweet that you were pooping. No. Eric, how's your machine working out of my house? Are you able to use it? Are you getting what you want out of it? You're muted.
X
I gotta be honest with you.
12.
Jesus, move on. We need to move on, buddy.
His kid's named X Ash A12.
Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah, to be honest with you, John, I think I've given up on it.
Really?
Well, so I was trying to use the gateway, and I don't know that it was really sluggish for me. And I still had issues with honestly, the biggest issue I had wasn't related. The biggest issue I had was the code base I'm working on, the client code base I'm working on, does some unique things with the domain names. And so even though I was doing port forwarding and I even tried using ngrok, the way it was doing these domain redirects, it was still breaking for my testing. So I'm like, all right, this is not going to work. This is frustrating. So, but even that, the JetBrains experiment with the PHP Storm, it's functional. It works. I didn't do the projector, which is the web-based version. I really just didn't have much of a desire to do that, but it's still it would still be like a go-to if you needed to code on something like an iPad. I just didn't really see a need for that. The thin client through Gateway, I mean, it's functional. It seemed like it was doing like a weird thing. Like if it's set too long without me typing in it, like say I go to lunch or something and I come back, it almost seems like it starts up another session because like all my layout is wrong again. You know, I'm that guy. I like to have my file explorer on the right hand side, not the left hand side. And every so often, I'd come back to my computer, and all that would be switched back around.
That's annoying. You think that'd be part of the client, not a session?
Yeah, but honestly, the more I tried using it, the slower it felt. Like initially, I was very happy. I'm like, okay, this is cool. I have access to all this. I'm typing. I'm getting responses. But when I got into seriously coding with it, it was just like I wasn't getting the response. And again, you know, it's me, so I'm using my Vim bindings, which were working. I mean, they're working fine, but I don't know if that was adding to the delay I was seeing as far as like auto completions and things like that. And it just got really sluggish. So
I would think it would have to be slow if it's all being done remote. Like it's all being done on your machine here, and it's got to be sent back to your client, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had switched back to Vim and was using just straight Vim, which obviously worked just fine. But I still had that issue with this client and how they manage domains and all these redirects that they were doing. So fortunately, the workflow that I have, the toolchain I have now is just that devil box for my Docker containers. Mm-hmm. And I just installed devil box on my laptop, spun it up, working fine. So it's still there. I'm still using that machine because that's where like all, you know, anything that's a file that's not a repo is on there. So I'm constantly moving stuff back and forth. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I remember when we first looked at their remote development solution, and I think I even mentioned that it looked more like a proof of concept. This is definitely a huge step forward, but it still needs some work. And the other thing I didn't do, which is still a very real option for me, because I do have PHP Storm on this desktop. If it was really like a situation where like disk space was a situation or something, well, not even that, but I could be syncing my files back and forth. But again, I lose that. The benefit to it was that my desktop is so much more powerful than my laptop. So it should be so much quicker to do this stuff. And that benefit wasn't there for me. So it's like, well, then I'll just do it locally.
Joe asked what my upload speed.
Upstream.
And and I thought it was because of issues with the show, but he has a good point. Could have an impact on your usage of the tools on your server here. I think I'm paying.
It's not passing like chunks of images and stuff. It's just, you know what I mean? It's like I'm not streaming a video.
I know. I got to see what I'm paying for because my max over the past 30 days is 28 and minimum is 23. And I thought I was paying for way more than that.
Up or down?
Up.
Huh.
That's pretty good though.
Is it?
Yeah. Upload speed of 30?
My down is closer to 500.
Right.
Well, it could be that you're running on Java and everyone's just trying to exploit you all at once.
It could have been I was doing a backup and eating all the bandwidth too. I mean, I did want to upgrade Pop OS to 2110.
Oh, the fancy new?
Yeah. And because the auto upgrade for some reason stopped halfway through. It stopped it was downloading the latest release. Don't know what happened. So then I started researching everything. I was like, make sure you have a backup first. I'm like, I think I have everything backed up already. Like, I don't really have much ephemeral
Yeah,
stuff.
I hope you're not depending too much on that Spider Oak, John, because I tried using that.
I actually am using a new thing, and it's uploading to Google Drive.
Straight to the NSA. Just direct pipe.
Yeah. So
they got a lot of storage.
Anywhere you back up to is straight to the NSA anymore. I'm too lazy to go buy my own NAS and have everything local.
Yeah.
So anyway,
register it with the NSA.
Yeah, exactly. So I went and I did do a backup of most of my files that I don't necessarily have in the cloud already. So that was running last night, and I am not using Spider Oak.
Yeah, you could have gotten some interference from the bridge too.
I think it's Deja Backup. I don't know. I think it was Deja Vu. Something like that.
Well, completely trampling my segue into Log4j. Have you guys been following this fun at all?
Yes.
Yeah. Hard not to.
What's that banner? 8 billion devices run Log4j and are vulnerable. Turns out, so Log4j that is this like default logging thing for Java, and all you have to do is get a string into the log for it to remote execute code, which is the worst kind of vulnerability. And it turns out that's really easy to do. They patched it, and a bunch of people updated their versions and got the patched version and stuff like that. But it turns out they were like too fast with the patch, and the patch had another vulnerability in it that was just the same.
No way. Really?
Yeah. So now there's 2 patches for Log4j. But it's really easy to exploit. That's the bad thing. Like, it's really, really easy to do because you just have to get a string sent to the logging system. Like
and so many people just log the request. Yeah, like I want this just in case I need it.
Right. And everything runs this, like Minecraft servers, PHP Storm. Everything runs Log4j, and it's just a massive problem. Everyone's panicking. Glad I'm on VS Code. Don't have to worry about that.
You say that,
yeah, because VS Code never has an exploit. Yeah, you're fine.
I'm good. And your PHP Storm is open to the world?
Yeah. Open source. I'm a member of a global community, John.
Okay, but why is your personal PHP Storm open on the internet?
Mistakes were made.
He was using Gateway, John.
But
okay,
you don't want to talk about that. You want to talk about PHP, and have I got the coolest PHP news for you?
Well, is there anything that could warn you about Log4j?
Nothing I can think of.
Yeah.
Honeybadger transforms you into a DevOps hero by combining error, uptime, and cron monitoring into a single, easy-to-use platform. Stop wasting your time tailing logs and deploy with Swagger. Visit honeybadger.io today to level up.
Thanks, Honeybadger.
Honeybadger, the official sponsor of PHPUgly.
There's
we didn't mean to imply that they would let you know if Log4j was on your system or not.
No, Honeybadger fixes everything. You're fine. Don't apologize, John.
I'm working on logging requests right now. It's funny that this happened while I'm working on this project. I'm logging all this stuff, and we have it secured, and we want to use an AWS service for this. AWS has what's it called? Athena, which is like querying data that you have stored in S3 buckets as if it were an SQL table. But it's so strict on the formatting. It's this huge pain in the ass. And so I saw someone recommending Cloud Search. I'm like, oh, let me check this out. And everything that teaches you how to implement Cloud Search starts with, hey, make sure that you're not spending $1 million when you do this, because it's a crazy expensive service. And it's just like Elasticsearch, but it uses an S3 bucket. I'm really struggling with this requirement to have searchable encrypted logs.
Searchable encrypted. That's not easy to do.
No, it's not. It's very difficult, in fact.
Why? So why do you? Well, I know you have sensitive data.
Yes.
Which is why you want to encrypt it. What part do you need? Do you need searchability on the
encrypted
data?
value? Yeah.
On the sensitive data part? That is.
She's a tricky one.
We've talked about it a ton. We've not on logs. I mean, unless you know exactly what you're logging and what you're going to be searching for.
No.
But even that, you're not going to be able to use a third-party service for that I know of.
Yeah. The solution comes down to trusted environments, basically, which is how we ended up on AWS. Is these trusted environments are separate from the encryption mechanisms elsewhere in our system. So they can operate in an unencrypted or a decrypted mode safely. So it's not literally searchable encrypted fields, because by the nature of encryption, that's not a possible thing.
Yeah,
or shouldn't be.
What's the point at that point? What's the point of encrypting it?
Yeah, so this is sort of a security offset, a safe site thing. It's very interesting. I mean, what AWS will allow you to do with encrypting S3 buckets and then sort of passing that encryption around within S3 is very interesting. But I hate S3. Yeah. I mean, I worked on it for 2 hours and I was just like, I'm never touching this again. The IAM policy I created stopped working.
Permissions. Yeah, the permissions are finicky as hell. Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible. So
it's terribly efficient, Tom. That's the thing. Security is not convenient.
It is not. It's really good at getting people to pay for AWS certification programs.
That's true. That is a thing.
So, not to change subjects, Joe just shared something that's fascinating to me. Trino. He uses it to. It basically queries. Queries your S3 storage like using SQL-like access. Joe, why are you making us have to learn something new? It sounds like another column for PHP Architect. Just saying.
Yeah, what the hell, Joe? You hold on to that
just
stuff
so you know,
and write about it.
Just so you know, it's not Trino.com.
Yeah, Trino S3, maybe look for that.
Trino.io.
I'm not finding it. Trino.io.
Yeah. Previously Presto SQL.
Hey, we're looking for feature article contributors with PHP Architect since we're talking about it. If you have ever wanted to write an article for a published magazine, then PHP Architect is the solution. I went to the wrong thing. How do you spell Trino? Oh, Trino, not Trino.
Trino.io. Yeah, just hit us up, WRITE at phparch.com. And we will write
Very
back.
easy.
Yeah, you let us know what you want to talk about, and we will respond if we like it or not.
If you've ever done a presentation at a user group, or you've talked at your kid's school about PHP, any of that stuff, you can write about it.
All right, I'll write.
No, not you, John. We've seen what you write. You're really bad at it. Please don't.
That's funny because it's true.
Hey, who put the Grinch Hour of Code in here? Did I miss a conversation?
No, I didn't want to go. I talked about Hour of Code for the kids' school, and then afterwards remembered about this. So, and I didn't want to hijack and go back to my topic, but since you brought it up, I go into my kids' class, and again, they had 1 hour, and I had 15-minute blocks as I went through. So when I got to my kids' class, it was the end of their hour of code. And their teacher had them doing this Grinch Hour of Code, which is kind of like Scratch, where they were able to make things work. I haven't looked at it enough. Just what I quickly saw reminded me of Scratch. But I walk in and the teacher says, yeah, they're all on their Chromebooks right now. Don't be too upset if they don't interact with you or they don't ask questions. I'm like,
love it.
No, I like that.
She's like, and because they're all in the middle of something, she's like, don't close your Chromebooks. So like, as I'm talking, the kids really did well for having the Grinch on their screen in front of them, and they had to take their headphones off. But I could tell throughout, there's some kids that kept trying to sneak their headphones back on, or like all they want to do is look back at their screen.
This guy's boring.
It's funny.
Hey, so I'm curious. You said Chromebooks. Do all the students have Chromebooks?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Do they take them home, or are they just there at the school?
Just there at the school. Last year, when he did when he was doing homeschooling, they gave him a Chromebook, and it was horrible. I mean, they're just older. They were too slow. It was not a good experience. Half the things he needed to do, we had to give him the iPad for. So he would have an iPad for certain things, and then could go back to the Chromebook for some things.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the difference is. I don't know like exactly what was happening. I don't know if it was just locked down too much from the school's perspective. So the teachers say, go to this YouTube channel, and it wouldn't work.
That's crazy, though. I mean, like, even that aspect of, here's your homework, go to this YouTube channel. It's like, wait, what? That's crazy. That's nuts.
It's a different day we live in. Yeah.
I want to go back to school, man.
But it's nice. I mean, there's a lot of good educational stuff on there, but I also feel like I have to be there every second he's on YouTube, because you don't know what he's going to stumble into.
There's shit like this streaming on YouTube. Kidding me?
No, there's stuff targeted towards kids that like takes dark turns.
Oh, I know.
I saw a video where they were talking about this recipe channel, which is like they take a video of someone icing cakes and stuff like that, but they're telling like true crime stories while they're doing it. And there's no indication from the channel that that's what's happening. But like horrific details of true crime stories, but it's supposed to be like a cake icing instructions. It's bizarre. YouTube is
so your parents walk by, they think you're watching cake icing tutorials,
right? But it's actually about a horrendous serial murderer.
Great.
But yeah, I mean, don't be a helicopter parent.
Instead, just put a bug in. Wait, I have the camera. I just need to make sure I get a bug into their headphones.
Just the one camera.
You've got enough cameras. You got the whole Matrix scene. You just got the all around them. So
you could recreate what they're listening to in Dolby Vision.
Just by watching like a paperclip vibrate or something.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Are you guys upgrade to you guys upgrade to PHP 8.1 yet?
No.
The release manager of 8.1 is a horrible person. I refuse to upgrade to 8.1.
He's gonna go 8.0 to 8.2.
Yeah. I'm skipping 8.1 altogether.
I'm excited, man.
I shouldn't say that because I'm actually interviewing one of them.
Have you upgraded?
Enums.
No, dude. The ReactPHP.
Oh, do tell. What about ReactPHP?
ReactPHP is starting to get into the fibers stuff, the green threads.
Really?
And so
that makes sense. That'd be perfect.
Oh yeah. But I got a nice blog post on async await in PHP with ReactPHP and like do's and don'ts, and I just sort of started like salivating while I was reading it, and like, oh my god, I just want to do so much with this.
I'm a big fan of ReactPHP.
The one thing that it clearly states is like, hey, this don't use the root level, don't use the PHP included async await stuff, use the React stuff, because the root level stuff is not intended for end users. Like, it's a nightmare, and React is here to make it easier, which is what I've been saying all along. But I can't wait to be doing async stuff.
So what sort of async development would you do, Tom? Because I'm always wanting to do something like this, but I can never think of like a good, like, I don't know, use case for async.
I have a ton of API calls that I make, and many of them don't need to be synchronous. So I have, when I'm populating a loan request, I have 8 external calls that I'll make that are getting information from various different sources from the base information that I have. And right now it takes as long as 8 separate requests, because it is request 1 till it ends, request 2 till it ends.
Why are you not throwing those into jobs and waiting for the jobs to finish?
I'm throwing some of them into jobs, but some of them, we have a lot of different ways that we do it. In some places it is a job, but in some places it's in response to like an ASAP response to a user clicking on something.
Right.
So it really depends on it, like what exactly we're doing. But there are cases. Now I am using like HTTP pools in Laravel, which does some async stuff. But the true strength of the async await when you're making API calls is that 30 calls takes the speed of 1 call once you do it correctly. So even when I'm doing it as a job, it only has to be the one job. It doesn't have to be 30 separate jobs firing off.
No, I get that. I'm just saying that right now, if you do it synchronously, like you said, and you have 8 jobs, the second one doesn't start till the first one finishes.
Right.
I don't know about Laravel queues, and I'm not sure how they work, but what I do is I would throw it into Beanstalk. I get the job ID. I would get back all 8 job IDs and then sit in a loop and wait till I got all 8 responses.
Sure. But that works. But this is the far more elegant solution.
Oh, I completely agree. There's no question there.
Yeah. So the way
threading.
that it works is well, it's not real threading. The way that it works is basically when an HTTP request is not doing anything, it's just waiting for a response or what have you, it passes the pointer back to the main thread, and the main thread says, okay, work on something else then. So any processing you're doing that has downtime or waiting time,
just do it like a real developer and use pfork or forking.
That's got its own problems too, because remember, when you fork, you have to clone the whole app and spin it up.
I've done that lots of times. I used to love using fork.
I did too for a while.
I don't think I've ever used it. I've never used fork.
You really have to have a specific use case for it.
So what was yours?
I don't recall what I was doing, but really, if you want to do a lot of things really quickly, you spin off and you're like, okay, I have a child process, and you just keep forking. So you get to a point where you have all the data you need. And then when you go to act on it, you create children, and then the parent just sits there and waits for the children to finish and come back.
Gotcha. So like if you were like doing monthly reoccurring billing or something, you could load up all your data and then start forking each one to process?
Could.
Interesting.
But like Tom said, you've now got however many forks. If you're not careful, it gets out of control real quick. If you have a ton of children you need to spawn off, and you don't know exactly how much memory you're using, you could quickly kill your machine.
Yeah. Another thing is that
then you got to control number of processes.
You could write a WebSocket server with green threads, where it's always listening and it doesn't do anything until it's not in a listening state anymore. One recommendation that this blog post makes is wrapping your whole application in an async function, which allows you to sort of manage your threads from within your application. So there's a lot of interesting stuff, and this is just like the very beginner stuff. I don't even think this is officially on React yet. I think it's just a PR. But it really has me excited.
Yeah, like I said, I like to React PHP a ton. I really want to try to do something with Octane. Joe Ferguson in our Discord channel at discord.phpugly.com this month has an article on Laravel Octane, and I love that. I just love that technology. I don't have like a good enough use case to justify kind of doing it anywhere yet. And I feel like I take that back. I feel like I do. I'm not in the right frame of mind. I don't think that way. It's very much like when I used to try to think of good use cases for document stores. It's like my mindset was so set on relational database structure that I could never get my head around what made sense as a document store, even though I had a lot of use cases where that was true. I feel like this is like the same thing. I have a lot of use cases where I can use it. I just don't have the mindset or the experience to say, oh yeah, this is where we should be implementing this.
And the fact that I don't have a lot of use case in it just because I don't do that much Laravel. So I wouldn't even know where I would start
ReactPHP is not
it.
Laravel.
No, I know.
Octane is.
Octane is, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I always feel like the podcast is like something like I could write a job to process a bunch of the post-show podcast stuff where it was, I don't know, man. I there's so many things I want to do that I have no time to do anymore.
I know. And then we get on a call today for, what was it, over an hour, just dealing with stuff in Notion. And it was like, from there, we had so many ideas of things we should be doing.
Yeah.
And
John and I, we're only allowed to talk to each other for about an hour a week because we end up creating more work than we saw. We're both at this point, especially with PHP Architect. We're both at the stage where there's so much we want to do and so many good ideas, and it's just like, I don't know how or where we're going to find time to do this stuff.
We got to find writers first. Tom, when you get writing,
that's always a priority.
As soon as I have a day off.
You don't need just had a whole week off.
You're going to get a day off. You're going to be like, I should write for PHP Arc. You know what? I haven't had a day off in so long. I'm not going to do it right now.
We had talked about something a while back that I finally brought up with my project manager today, which was cooldown sprints.
Mm-hmm.
And it got a very warm welcome. I'm very excited about it. Yes. Because I had created a list of all of these cases that a cooldown sprint would really help us out. And everyone on the stand-up or on the retrospective went, yeah, that sounds good. That sounds great.
You're talking like a project manager. Just another reason I don't like you. But I'm sorry.
You don't need other reasons.
I'm sorry. I thought I was muted there.
You want to be frustrated? You want to really be frustrated?
Absolutely.
Sure.
You know what a bug bounty program is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when somebody, a company or individual will pay money to find, if you find a bug in their system or in their software, they'll pay you the money. Yeah.
Yeah. So like Apple offers between $25,000 and $1 million for a bug, depending on the severity.
What type of bug do you have to find to get you $1 million paycheck?
I don't know, Log4j.
Way to bring it back down.
Every device in the world suddenly compromised is a pretty good example. Well, I didn't know this, but the U.S. government doesn't have a bug bounty program. I had, for some reason, figured that they have a bug bounty program, but they don't. And so the Department of Homeland Security this week launched the official U.S. government bug bounty program. And get this, you can earn up to $5,000.
There you
go. Between $500 and $5,000, depending on how serious the vulnerability is.
This is the government. They don't have any money to give you.
Yeah, no, it's not like they just passed a $2.5 trillion budget bill and debt limit ceiling increase.
And still in debt.
I figure that if you found the most severe vulnerability, every 6 months would be like really generous for a person actively searching for vulnerabilities. So that's $5,000 every 6 months, which is an amazingly poor amount of money. But not only that, this is not like a publicly available bug bounty program. You have to be accepted into the bug bounty program so that they can give you access to these websites and systems that they want you to test. So you have to work like exclusively on their garbage It is mind-blowingly insulting. The number one comment on Reddit for this was, it sounds like they're trying to entice people to sell bugs to foreign governments because like $5,000 for the most severe vulnerability is ridiculous.
They got to start somewhere.
Yeah, not there. You know, I think it's so crazy.
You're taking it from the aspect of somebody who's spending like almost a full-time job looking for bugs versus, hey, I stumbled into this bug. Let me tell you about it. Oh, I got $5,000. Wow.
You can't stumble into it. That's my point. Is you have to sign up and use these services that are exclusively internal secured government services. You can't just like be using a service from them and stumble upon it. This is only accessible to people who have access to it already. Like you got to
pay $12,000 just to get access. So. You got to find 2 bugs to break even.
Yeah, it's a money-making scheme. It's a pyramid scheme. No, and that's if you find. That's if you find.
If you're going to sign up,
what do you really?
If you're going to sign up, please use code PHPUgly. Thank you.
Gosh, that would be funny. They start getting a bunch of people typing in. That's what, like, if you buy anything online, always type in the code PHPUgly. Just see what happens. And you never know.
But see, I know that what happened was somebody in IT in the government said, "We need this thing. We need to pay money to people for finding bugs." And the guy he was talking to said, "So, like, finding the bugs or fixing them?" He's like, "No, just for finding them." He's like, "We're going to give people money for finding bugs, but not even fixing them." It's like, how much do we pay our people to fix the bug? Well, it's $100,000 a year to fix the bugs. It's like, okay, split that up amongst 52 weeks. That's how much they get for finding a bug. Like, there's somewhere somebody who had no idea how any of this stuff works made that decision for $5,000 at the maximum.
Yeah, like it says the government. I'm not really sure what you're
it's a starting point.
Yeah,
maybe it'll change.
It'll change the first time someone finds the bug and sells it to Iran. Then they'll just cancel the whole program.
You're assuming that doesn't happen already.
Oh, I know it does, but whatever.
Yeah. Fun. All right. What else you got?
You know who else is fun? Our patrons.
So we have a new Patreon.
We saw that.
I typically only put the first name and last initial to help keep their privacy and anonymity.
So L Magazine?
Yeah, well, it would have been Laravel L.
Laravel M.
I'm like, well, that's going to be confusing. Yeah. So the Laravel Magazine,
and they made it public by tweeting it. So
they did.
They did?
Yeah. And what's hysterical is they just launched their podcast. The first podcast was just the person behind the podcast explaining it. I'll give you one guess who was on the second podcast.
You.
Joe Ferguson.
No. Fucking Steve.
Fucking Steve.
Fucking Steve. Everywhere I turn around, that guy is somewhere.
This is a plot to try and take our patrons away from us. They're going to try and sponsor us until our patron page is just them listed.
Yeah. Yeah, Laravel Magazine. It was cool. It was cool to see him. I've been popping over to the site every so often. It's a nice alternative to Laravel News, which is kind of the same recycled stuff. Yeah, it's nice. I like it. I like it a lot.
Oh,
give them some love.
They were nice enough to make their link to our Patreon page.
God, not even we do that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I thought it was
Thank you.
Well,
very
thank
nice
you,
of them.
patrons.
Yes, thank you to
Yes,
all our
thank you.
patrons.
All the Patreons. Yes.
Joe says
I
he's
was
not
calling
cool
it-
enough to have been invited on the podcast.
I like.
was,
Hang on, I like Buttery's comment about the bug bounty fee, where if they made them any, I mean, it's so low because it's gonna be people in China and Iran finding the bugs and then taking the money to support their own programs.
Buttery, aren't you? You're in Japan, aren't you, Buttery? You're in China. Are you in China? I forget which one
He's in Japan.
He's in
Japan.
He's in Japan. Yeah,
He's big in Japan.
yeah, he's 6'1" apparently.
Yeah.
So I did a Freudian slip earlier. I just realized it. I called the PHP architect elephant Oscar, not Archie.
Oh, did you? I missed that.
I totally and now I'm thinking like maybe we should rename it to Oscar. I think that might even be a better appropriate name now. But Archie is the PHP architect elephant.
Right there.
Oscar just
actually
pops in
there.
their head.
It'd be Oscar O or Archie O Elephant. Full name.
There you go.
All right, is that it? Are we done?
Is that it? I don't know. Do you want more bad news? I have a bunch.
If you got PHP, if it's PHP related, I'll let it slide. What's up?
Oh, I have some good PHP news.
Let's hear it.
Symfony has a tool called Flex. It's a composer plugin that makes it easy to add new features to your projects. It does a bunch of setup stuff. It's similar to some of the stuff that Laravel does. But Symfony has announced Docker support with Flex now. They have a full Docker Compose package builder that lets you design and run up your Docker container for a new project just exactly the way you want it to. I think that's super cool because I think Docker Compose is a pain in the ass.
It's not a pain in the ass when somebody else does it for you.
Well, yeah.
Devil box, man. You just got to do devil box. I'm telling you. I learned about devil box through PHP Architect. Just like last year, I think they did. It might even been Joe that did the article. I don't remember who did the article on it, but
yeah, I think it was.
Well, the Symfony.
This is really interesting.
Yeah, the Symfony CLI now detects Docker Compose services and automatically configures your application to use them, which is really nice. I mean, if you've ever gone from scratch and tried to get a Docker project running and you realize like, oh, it's not pointing at the right subnet of the Docker container, or like the two Docker services aren't talking to each other, like this is supposed to just take care of the whole thing for you.
So Flex wasn't Flex. I don't know if they've rebranded this or not, but wasn't Flex like the micro framework for Symfony?
Yes. So, well, no. So,
oh, okay.
yes, and no. Symfony moved to a micro framework format.
Right, like Flex is like the base install, right? Isn't that like the kernel, the where
Flex,
you start?
Flex is the manager for the Symfony services that are available. So the base install is created with Flex, and then Flex handles the packages, the Symfony packages that are added to the install as you need them. And this happened.
Anymore.
This happened around the same time that Laravel Spark, I think, happened. Where Laravel
Spark is just a processing, credit card processing.
What's the micro the Laravel micro framework.
Lumen.
Yeah, so Lumen is a separately maintained separate project. When Laravel gets updated, Lumen gets updated like a day or two later. Whereas Symfony, each individual package is maintained as its own standalone thing. So you start with the microservice,
which actually allows you to use it in projects outside of Symfony, such as Laravel. Laravel uses a bunch of Symfony packages, not a Symfony application. It
also lets you version things correctly, but that's a different story. So Flex is the management tool for your packages in Symfony, and it lets you go from Symfony as a micro framework all the way to full-blown Symfony with everything installed.
I gotta do. I mean, we actually have an active use case for Symfony now. I need to get my head around this. Yeah, we do.
Well, I'm curious what you're talking about. What that use case is.
The project you've been working on.
Oh,
isn't that Symfony?
Yes, I think you are correct.
I don't know, John. You're working on it.
I don't pay attention to the framework. I just write the code. I didn't care about that.
It also supports a Docker Compose override, which I haven't heard of before, but lets you like do different Docker compositions for different environments and stuff.
I think Grumpy's what was that open source project Grumpy had for conference speaking? Call for papers or something?
Oh, OpenCFP?
Yeah. OpenCFP. I think that was written in Symfony as well. The rewrite he did it for it was in Symfony. Or used Symfony components, I forget. I need to do some Symfony, man. I just need to do pick a project and start up in Symfony.
Now, I also have a follow-up to an issue I brought up a few weeks ago about a bug with hidden Unicode characters. Someone had written a vulnerability for many programming languages that used hidden Unicode characters. Mm-hmm. And somebody out there said, hey, there's already a bunch of use cases for crappy Unicode characters being detected. And so there's a extension for VS Code that gives you special highlighting and notification for non-standard Unicode characters. And you can hover over like the box that surrounds the character, and it'll tell you what's going on in that area. It'll say, oh, this is a super weird Unicode type of Chinese language that shows up as blank on most computers and does this and this.
Interesting.
So,
hey, I got a question for you, Thomas.
Fire away.
Now that we're winding down a little bit, are you still using Copilot?
A lot. I used it a bunch today. Actually, before we started recording, I looked up if I could get a change log, and I couldn't find it, but it seems to have gotten smarter.
See, that was another one of those things. Like, I installed the extension when I was using Gateway, JetBrains Gateway, but the Copilot never seemed to work. Then, so what I ended up doing this week is I ended up bringing, and I don't know why I hadn't done this previously, but bringing my current PHP Storm on my Mac up to date, which wasn't that hard. I just sync it. PHP Storm has a syncing mechanism, but it always takes a little time to get it all just right. Anyways, but I'm noticing like on my MacBook, Copilot doesn't seem to be firing either. So I don't know if there's something wrong with my configuration or what's going on.
You should try VS Code.
Well,
I love it, man. I've had it. We talked previously about how it can't see files outside of the file you're currently in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that might have changed a little bit. I think it might have gotten a little bit more access because it started auto-completing methods that it couldn't guess.
Joe Ferguson knows me too well. He says my code is too terrible. Copilot just gave up. It crashed and burned.
Yeah. It's
Sorry.
Somebody over at GitHub was saying, why is the server load so high for this one user? Can we just ban him?
I often can't tell
Shut
if
him
it's Copilot or just normal PHP Storm code completion.
It should be colored differently in the IDE. So my code completion is
I think
bright
it
white.
is, but
for me, it's pretty obvious.
Only like a word or two.
Yeah,
Copilot will do whole blocks.
That's one.
I very rarely get whole blocks. I often get like a standard code completion, and then it often annoys me where it gives me what I want to a point, but then I want to change the string, and it's having to clear things out.
Have you tried writing a comment and having it autofill from the comment?
No,
because that'll produce multiple blocks. Like it'll produce chunks of code.
No, I haven't gone that far. Yeah. I don't want to talk to it.
Yeah, that's me. I don't want.
I just want to.
It's not my friend.
Right. I just want to write code. If it helps me, great. If not, that's fine too.
I like talking to it though, because you can talk to it kind of like you can like Gherkin, the testing language, where you like give it a sort of a broken sentence, but you include all the relevant information, and it'll do a lot from there. And I kind of wonder if that's the direction that Copilot might take, is as a pseudo language. It'd be there'd be cases where it'd be nice to pull up Copilot in like a full dialogue box and tell it what I want to do.
Oh God, no.
Why not? I mean, it's auto self-commenting code.
I was like, I want to log my Java application. Can
you suggest something?
Can you suggest a good logging system?
Yeah, see, that's the danger of having Copilot installed on PHP Storm, is that at some point someone's going to teach it how to submit an injection vulnerability as a suggestion. And finally,
finally we have
the December issue of PHP Architect out.
Is it?
Boom!
Log into your PHP Architect account. Check it out. Let us know your thoughts on the cover. I would love to hear that. Tweet us.
Yeah, we did
at
something
PHP
different
Arch.
with the cover. Yeah. Not this very second, Thomas.
Our cover was a throwback to early PHP Architect magazine / just an overall change.
Yeah.
Chrome.
Thanks. Just steamroll over me. That's fine. Thought we were winding down.
Well, since it's fine. Chrome is pushing forward with Manifest v3, which is the sort of root level language that the plugins use to communicate with what's going on. In Manifest v2, plugins could get information from the site before it renders onto the page. So it could actually pre-manage stuff like whether or not to show something as a particular format, or in the case of ad blockers, to tell it to just not load the thing at all. It just drop it from the HTML before it gets rendered. But Manifest v3 ends this. So plugins now don't have access to the data before it's rendered, which is a big pain in the ass, and everyone's really upset about it. And it is sort of a privacy problem now. A lot of stuff like NoScript and ad blocker will stop working as they're supposed to. Which as a developer, like people ask me, well, don't you want people to not use ad blocker? Like, no. I think advertisements are the problem with the internet. It's the reason that everyone is producing garbage content. Ad blockers are great. No, nothing. Both of you dead to the world. Am I muted? Fine. You have to edit this. You get to edit.
What comment were you? Wait, no. What comment were you looking for there? I'm sorry.
I don't know. Any comment? Basic affirmation.
Awesome find. I thought we were winding them
Good
down
job,
before that
Tom.
article came out.
You know what? Discord has my back more than you guys do. This is why I visit once every 3 years. Fine.
What do you do once every 3 years? Wait, what did I just miss?
He only visits us once
San
every 3
Diego.
years.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Hey,
I hit
John.
a wall. Yep.
John, are you going to Minneapolis?
Do not know yet.
What's in Minneapolis?
It's a thing, man.
Huh?
It's a thing.
A thing. We'll talk about it another night, not tonight.
Not tonight. You're too tired to talk about it.
What?
You
No,
sleep?
don't
Cliffhanger.
do me like this.
Cliffhanger. We'll talk about it another week.
Oh my god.
Minneapolis.
Keep people guessing.
All right, fine. We'll talk about it another night. Not tonight. We don't want to give Tom too much of a heads up. So
let me talk to the wife. I'll let you know.
all right.
I keep forgetting to bring it up.
All right. Mine can't stop talking about it. So
Well, that's because she's homeless. Anywhere that has
somewhere to
heating is
stay.
nice.
All right, I think that's it. We'll talk about that more later. I think that's going to do it for tonight's show. I'm actually very happy I've been able to stay online this entire time. So
It's impressive.
We're gonna wrap it up here. Episode 266 in the can. I'm Eric.
I'm John.
I'm Tom.
Keep it up.
Keep it
ugly.
Coming off the top, y'all know how we do.
Two,
Listen,
two.
I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know, Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to
You guys
John.
are so mean to
you
me,
know
I don't
that
know
he's
why.
smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles,
love
which
you.
cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless you with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all.
I hate it when you guys hide things from me.
I'm not hiding anything.
It's all over Discord. Just look at Discord.
No one on
It's not
Discord
there.
knows what it is.
I mean, A Woods is wrong, but not wrong.
Or you're gonna what Midwest PHP?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Yep.
It's a half a year away. That's 2022.
I know. That's why I'm like, why are we?
It's
I
It's
haven't brought up
April.
my wife yet.
It's April. What are you talking about? It's 4 months away.
Oh God.
What are you talking about? It's not that far off.
You'll have a house by then.
I hope so. Jeez.
You are pounding the Coke
so
and
weird.
Red Bull. Jeez.
Oh, I'm here for the night. Like, I'm here until 7 o'clock in the morning. So yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Why? You're locked in?
No, but I drove the wife in, and like by the time I finish editing and everything, it's going to be like midnight, 1 o'clock. That's usually when I get all the editing and stuff done.
Might as well stay up another 7 hours.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than going back to the bridge. It's raining outside, so bridge life is hard.
I saw that you guys got rain. Did you see my picture of my house?
No.
Did I not post that?
Where would you have posted it at?
Twitter?
I thought I put it in Discord.
Well, if I don't get tagged in this Discord, I'm probably not gonna see it. Same holds true with Twitter and Slack and text and smoke messages.
Yeah, John likes to be recognized. You always have to recognize John for him to participate.
Exactly.
Where are you putting it? Slack?
Hold on. Let me do it through my phone. Discord's bitching.
I can't tell you how weird it is that somebody else has my house here in San Diego. Like, they literally own it. Like, it's not my house anymore. It's really weird.
And it was your house for, what, 15 years prior to that?
15 years, man.
That looks like fun. That reminds me of a time in Florida when a hurricane blew a tree over onto my house.
So this was 60 to 100 mile per hour winds.
Really? So what is your house? The one the fence is leaning up against, or the house that the? Okay.
No,
so
my
your
house
is one is the
and this is
pushed away.
This is only half the damage. This was halfway through when I realized that the dog could no longer go out in the backyard. An hour later, the entire fence on that side of the house was gone. It's just in someone else's yard.
Crazy. You rent though, right? That's not your problem.
Yeah, and Colorado says...
why is it not attached to those posts that are still stuck in the ground?
It ripped the nails out.
Really?
It really did.
Because those posts look like they're pretty sturdy. Maybe you should use better nails.
Or screws?
The wood on the pickets were rotted, and this was trying to cover that up. But I don't know. I didn't build the fence.
True.
And like I said, 100-mile-an-hour gusts of wind. It was not good.
You were just saying something about Colorado, in the state of Colorado?
Yeah, the state of Colorado, the face that the direction that the pickets are facing makes it their responsibility. So since unless
you're nice neighbors, I'm sure the same holds true here, but my neighbor and I talked before getting a new fence, and we split the cost.
Yeah, that's
because we're good neighbors.
That's what we ended up doing too, I think. Like I said, I rent. None of it was my problem at all, except for making sure that the dog didn't go outside. But I mean, that was small damage. There was some major damage on people's cars and stuff. Like some people's pickets got ripped off and thrown onto the main road, and people were hitting picket posts at 50 miles an hour. And my buddy's power's been out for over 24 hours now because the high tension power lines blew over.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm bailing on you guys. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right.
Thanks everybody for